Check out how some of these footings have kind of slipped under it. Check this out. Here's an old well. Makes you wonder if there's still water in it. Makes you wonder what that tree's seen in its lifetime. I guess the bell was for when it was meal time, I guess. It let people know when to come and eat. You know, I guess people take for granted. You know, they say people that live in poverty and all this kind of stuff. This is the way in the 1800s people in Mississippi, just regular people, lived. You know, it's hard to believe, but it is. My grandmother and grandfather Jones, just in the early 70s, they lived in a house that barely had running water and didn't have a bathroom. It was an outhouse. It wouldn't but about one step above this house right here. And they talk about it. We're just spoiled. That's what it is. We're just spoiled. It's pretty amazing to think about the people that are traveling, what this looked like to them. If they've been wading the bogs, just think what they're about to get into. They get up close to Jackson, they're going to be having to cross through part of the sloughs and all that there at the Ross Barnett and all that. It's going to be pretty wild. You got all this. You got grapevines. See the grapevines all here? The fencing, you know, this fencing, they used to have this fencing all along the trace at all the fields. There used to be this fencing, and I reckon it got hard to keep up, so they took it down. And my great grandpa Steele, he was a Civil War veteran, survived the Civil War, and then later on in life he got out fighting a fire. His fence was catching on, it was fire and burning and everything, fighting it that night, breathed a bunch of smoke, got pneumonia and passed away. I'm sure it was a fence similar to this. We followed a little sign that said, there goes a big squirrel jumping across through there. We followed a sign that said slave graveyard, so we thought we'd walk down here. Well, that squirrel nearly jumped on my head. Big squirrel. Look at him.
Look at him.
And that squirrel was jumping around through there.
That's all crazy.
They're not too scared of humans, are they?
Watch out for snakes.
Yeah. We're walking down here to the old slave graveyard.
What, Mommy?
Never heard anybody mention anything about a slave graveyard down here. Don't really know why, because most all these inns were run by Indians. The Creek and the Choctaw Indians had them.
They even have the names of the people in the bird here.
Oh, they have the names of the different ones. It'd be easier if I do this. Only one unmarked stone remains. The names of persons known to be buried here are listed below. So, Which way is the graveyard?
I think it must be this way. Mom, I think it's short as just on
But anyway, like I was saying, the Indians is the ones that ran all the ends. You know, Jackson was he a general during the Indian War of 1812. He kind of done the Indians wrong because he pulled one on them. He talked them into, actually didn't talk them into them. He forced them into signing a treaty that gave up their part of this side of the Mississippi River to pretty much to a certain extent. And then later on, after he became president, he's the one that ordered them all out of the state. He done kind of the Trail of Tears type thing with them after they had helped fight the War of 1812. So it's kind of a jacked up deal. But this is pretty nice around through here. Oh, here's the graves.
Yes. Wait a minute.
Somebody's leaving change. That doesn't make sense to me. That's a new thing. It's been going on. I don't know why people want to leave change.
What's this?
It's a grave, I reckon, son. We're walking back out of the woods here from the slave cemetery. Going back out. I just thought this was a pretty cool scene. In the cover of the woods, walking back out into the open field. Here's the distant view to the backside. Of course, this could have been, actually, I'm calling this the backside. This actually could have been the front side. The new Natchez Trace, the paved trace, the paved trace is not necessarily where the original trace was at. Of course, you could almost guess that, but some people might not know, but it's not. There was a roadbed that went right along that slave graveyard back there. That may have been the actual trace. I'm not sure. But this actually could be, if you consider the front being what's facing the trace, this could be the front. Not really sure, but I bet, where's it at in the picture? I bet this tree right here could tell you. Huh, isn't that something? I had no idea this. I had no idea that they had fire plugs. Let's see if I can. I had no idea they had fire plugs then. Not.